Hello, I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. The novel coronavirus has quickly created a new normal for people around the world. Right here in Charlotte County, there are many small businesses that are already dealing with revenue losses. With that said, many of them are already finding creative ways to overcome the restrictions placed upon them by social distancing. Southwest Magazine is dedicating a special series to profiling local Charlotte County businesses that are using innovative strategies to keep their doors metaphorically open. Today, I'm speaking with Katy MacDonald, manager of the clothing and leather accessory store The Leather House in St. Andrews, that recently launched an online store. But first, I'm sitting down with St. Stephen businesswoman Abby Pond, founder of Queen of Cups Lingerie, who is now measuring her clients for tailored lingerie in virtual fittings. This has unwittingly opened up her market internationally. Abby, thank you for joining me today. To start off, let's talk a little bit about Queen of Cups Lingerie. What is it and what's the background to your business?
Sure. Well, yeah, I'm Abby and I'm the Queen of Cups. And my business is based in St. Stephen, and we make custom fit bras built for you to fit into. So they're built for your body. They're not built like there's not whole racks of them in my store that you would walk in and try on. We make every single one individually for our clients.
When you became aware that social distancing was going to impact your business for a long-term period, how did you start coming up with innovative strategies to tackle that, and what were some of the issues you were trying to overcome right away?
Yes, and so I had two main business revenue streams. One was the custom bras, and the other was teaching people to make their own bras. And both of those require or were completely face-to-face. So I had been expanding my business by operating pop-up shops in different businesses in Fredericton and St. John and Moncton and Miramichi, and teaching all over Atlantic Canada. And so not being able to see people face to face meant in 3 days my revenue dropped to zero because I wasn't able to do business the way I'd been doing business.
So when you became aware of the new climate that social distancing was creating for your business, what issues did that create for you that you had to overcome? Because obviously fittings require person-to-person encounters.
Well, I have an online store set up for my supplies so that my students, when they finish their classes, will often want to buy materials, and that way it's just easier for them to see the materials and get what they want. But it's not something that I had a lot of revenue from or really pushed. It was just really my students that bought from me. And I had a woman who actually reached out to me and said, I want to order a bra. I'm in Dartmouth, and my daughter is coming back tomorrow from Europe, and we're going into isolation for 14 days. How could we make this work? And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, how could I get the information I need from somebody and from their body in order to be able to make a bra when I can't see them or touch them? So I wrote down all of the things that I needed to get and created a two-step system where somebody reaches out to me, books a consultation, and what I do is I get them to fill out a form, and from that form I get enough information to create a fitting kit, which I then mail to them before their online consultation. So then I show them how to take the measurements that I need in order to be able to make the bra for them.
Have you found that your market has expanded since that first customer gave you that idea for a virtual fitting?
Yes. Well, once I realized that this is going to work, I went from being limited to just New Brunswick and where I could physically be to anywhere in North America that I can ship a fitting kit right now. So it actually, we're slowly building. So it's not like I'm selling a lot because we have to get out the word. But it's a potential growth for my business. Not only is it going to save it, but it gives me a chance to grow much larger than I would have if I was trying to do everything in person.
For people who have never had tailored lingerie before, can you explain what the difference is between tailored lingerie and off-the-rack, ready-to-wear?
Well, the first advantage, first and foremost, is that a lot of us aren't symmetrical. So we're not the same on both sides. And you can have a custom bra made to fit that. If you have straps that are always falling off the shoulders, we can move those in. We can address the issues that you have specifically and for your body shape and the way that you move. So it makes it easier for you. And I like to have my clients leave forgetting that they're wearing a bra. Mm-hmm. That's the whole goal. It's really hard to describe. When you walk into a store and you go to a rack and you pull the bras off the rack and you're trying to try them on. I don't know what your experience is, or I know a lot of women's experience, and my personal experience is it's really frustrating because different styles with the same sizes fit completely differently, and the straps might fall down, the cups might be too big, they were like I could never find the right size, and I felt so abnormal and humiliated when I left the store, because obviously there was something wrong with me that I didn't fit the product. And that's what I do. I make the product fit you. You are normal. There's nothing wrong with you. The problem is the product. So I make you the product for you as you are. And I think that's the biggest difference.
For customers who are looking to book a virtual appointment with you now, how do they do that?
You can reach out to me on social media and send a private message, or you can send me an email or give me a call. Any of those ways. The fastest way is probably social media at this point.
Would Facebook be the best option?
Facebook, my page is the Queen of Cups Lingerie. And yeah, that's probably the fastest way. It's the same on Instagram. It's Queen of Cups Lingerie. So if you search that, it'll come up.
Social media is obviously playing an even more important role than normal these days with social distancing to reach clients. Do you have any strategies you'd recommend to people for how to be effective using social media?
Right now, we're all a little scared. We're all a little bored. We're all a little anxious. And so I found the best things that I've done haven't been trying to sell people anything or having, more and more posts about this is what I do, please buy stuff. It's been more questions. So ask the people that are there. If people are following you on social media, they're already interested. So asking them questions, asking how they're doing. Today I had a post. It's like, what team are you on? We're all in isolation. Are you team bra or team no bra? Have you set the tatas free, or are you still getting dressed every day? And having those kind of interactions and a little bit of humor and just reality has been really, really great for me.
So you'd say building that sense of an online community and interacting with your customers also helps you in terms of building your brand and branding.
Well, yes, it's and being kind of funny and open and engaging is generally part of my branding, but it's just more part of the voice and the way that you talk to your customers and ask them, what do you need right now? Because I might have set up, I say, oh, well, I need to sell a lot more supplies, and I'll just buy a lot more supplies and set up the online store that way. And my clients have been like, actually, no, I don't want to do that. And so I would have wasted all my time and money. So asking your clients what they need is what first and foremost use social media for.
What other obstacles have you encountered in this new normal, and have there been any resources you found that might be of interest to other small business owners?
In terms of financial resources, there hasn't been much for small businesses. The wage subsidy, the 75% wage subsidy, only applies if your payroll's over $50,000 for the past year. So for a lot of small businesses and like me, I just went full time last year and didn't start with employees until November. So that doesn't particularly help me. There have been some great webinars from a couple of different companies and resources like Opportunities New Brunswick and Simplicity Designs, and they walk you through, this is what you should be doing. Like, you should be looking through your finances, cutting what you can cut, and this is what you should be planning for. And I found those to be really helpful.
What are some of your concerns if this does go on for a lot longer? And have you started thinking about ways to overcome those concerns at this point in time?
Moving forward, my greatest concern is that the longer we go, the more people that are going to be out of work, and the more people that are going to be reining in their spending. And so while people might be buying certain things now, eventually there is only so much money to go around if the whole economy is slowing down. And so people that are making purchases now might not be in 2 months, because it might be a choice between, well, I don't really need a new bra because we need to buy groceries next week. And I don't want it to get to that for anybody.
If it makes you feel better, I did read, I believe it was in the Washington Post, that people are spending more money on above the waist fashion items because we're Skyping and doing Zoom meetings so much.
Well, that's really good.
Pants are on the out, it turns out, and bras and tops are on the up.
As long as you don't stand up.
Right. Do you have any final advice that you'd like to give other businesses? And also, what role does supporting local have in our business's future?
I think it's really important for everybody, either if you own a business or if you don't, or if you work in a business. Before you go to make a purchase, think about where you could get it locally before you click onto a large conglomerate website. So think about, for instance, if you need paper for your printer, you can get it from Stationery Plus and they deliver right to your house. If you need to buy vegetables, is your local farmers market delivering, or places like here in St. Stephen, Stewart's. If you need to buy a gift and send it to somebody, is there a local gift store? They might not be open, but if you call them or go on their website, would they help you pick out a gift? I'm sure they would. And it would mean so much to all of us that are just really struggling if everyone would do that. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Every little tiny bit helps.
Thank you so much for being my guest today, Abby, and shedding some light that I hope other businesses will draw some inspiration from on how to get through this difficult time.
Thanks, Vicki.
Next, the Leather House has been a landmark star on Water Street in St. Andrews by the Sea since it was founded by manager Katy MacDonald's grandfather over 50 years ago. Katy's mother, owner Vicki MacDonald, has expanded the Leather House over the past few decades from a one-floor leather store into a two-floor destination shopping experience that's open 12 months of the year. That is, until now. To reach the store's devoted clients during the COVID-19 era of social distancing, Katy quickly became a self-taught web designer and product photographer and launched an online store just last week. Thanks for joining me today, Katy. Before we get started talking about the launch of the Leather House's new online store, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Leather House in St. Andrews and what it is for people who might not know?
Sure. It's a family-owned and operated business. My grandparents started it in 1969. It's in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. They started it as like a leather goods accessories store. And my parents took it over in 1995 and expanded it to include clothing for men, women, and footwear as well. And they expanded it to the second floor. And so they owned it from then until now. I moved home a few years ago to help my mom with the family business.
What about the traffic? Normally a lot of it's tourist traffic, foot traffic. So what were some of the first obstacles that you encountered when dealing with this new era of social distancing?
Yeah, so we obviously in St. Andrews, our busy season is very tourism driven. So we're busiest from June until I'd say like the end of September. We are one of the businesses in town that stay open year round because we have local customers that we love and support us all through the year, and we're able to do that. So I guess this all started, when did it all start happening? Beginning of March, I guess, is when it started affecting the business, even before we closed down. And we definitely saw like a slowdown in people shopping. And then of course we had to shut our doors. That was the right thing to do. So this time of year, it's not our busy season, but we definitely rely on the revenue that's coming in now to build our inventory up for the summer season. So yeah, it affected us in a big way as soon as we did shut her down. we went from getting constant revenue into absolutely nothing. So that was a huge challenge.
Right, and I guess too, for people that might not be familiar with St. Andrews, there's the Algonquin Hotel, which hosts a lot of spring break events too. So there are a lot of families that this time of year might be here for a full week that you'd be missing out on.
Yeah, for sure. March it's been getting busier and busier every year with events being held at Huntsman and the Algonquin and Sunbury Shores. So yeah, March typically could be a good month, but this year is an anomaly, that's for sure.
Now, when you decided to launch the online store, was that something that was a work in progress or something that you just took as a new endeavor in the last month?
Yeah, it was always kind of like on the horizon. It was something I always wanted to do. I knew that was, a good business strategy to have is to develop your online store as well as your bricks and mortar location. So we were in the process of setting it up and getting it ready, but to be honest, like there wasn't really a rush for it until this all happened, and then all of a sudden, that was number one priority.
What were some of the obstacles or challenges you encountered when trying to get it off the ground?
Okay, well, there were a few things really. I had never done anything website related before. I'm not really a techie person at all. Luckily, the system that we signed up with was kind of like a step-by-step process, so that made it possible for someone like me to set it up. But like everything from setting up the back office when it comes to shipping and tax calculations and that sort of thing, to the pictures really were one of the big things that it was pretty time consuming. I actually set up like a little makeshift kind of photo studio in my house and started taking pictures of the inventory here and then uploading it to the website. So that was very time consuming. And I wanted to get the website up and running as soon as possible. So yeah, there was a definitely crunch time to get it done. And it definitely was challenging, but I learned a lot doing it too, so that was good.
So, and a lot of us aren't tech savvy when it comes to learning new technology really fast. Were there any programs that you would recommend to other people that you found useful or that you're using right now?
Sure. I don't know. This is going to age me, I think. Because I think I was just on the cusp of I don't know. There's a younger generation that will be like, they know all this stuff like the back of their hand, but it was a learning process for me. Well, I used the POS system that we use at the store had an e-commerce function, so I used that. But there were some things that I used, like when it came to photography, I really just used my phone, and then I just edited photos in an app called Lightroom, and that seemed to do the trick. The other thing that I've been using for social media is an app called Canva, which is really helpful for doing like graphics and stuff like that. So these are all little things I'm learning. I'm sure there's so many more things out there and I will learn it as I go, but those are just two things that I've been doing.
You definitely have a strong following on social media, especially on Facebook and Instagram. Did you find there were new challenges in front of you when you're figuring out how to do branding for a website that go beyond just like social media branding?
Yeah, I think I took social media for granted before all of this. I used it as a tool. I knew that I probably could use it more, but I didn't necessarily need to because we just had we luckily had the traffic at our store. So I used social media, but I didn't really jump all in. And now, I mean, your entire customer base, that's really the only way that you can reach them. So I found that I really need to, focus on reaching customers through social media because nobody's walking through the doors at the store. So it's definitely taken on like a way bigger aspect of our business, that's for sure.
How did you approach branding when doing your website? Was there a strategy you had for taking photos and layout? Because obviously presentation is key, especially if you can open it up to people that aren't maybe familiar with your store for the first time.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it clean and simple. So I chose, like, when I did my pictures, I just did it against a white wall. I wanted the product to really pop in the photo and speak for itself. So I just wanted it to be crisp and clean, easy to shop and navigate, and I like how it turned out. It's really good. I like it. When it comes to strategy, really, at the moment when we post, we're posting new items that we have on the site. We're also, there's way more conversation through Facebook Messenger with customers, which is great. People can just reach out to us that way. And like I was saying to you today, I'm like, I have to get used to that, because I'm used to, face-to-face contact at the store, people calling the location at the store and talking to them on the phone. So it's all new, but definitely we're having a lot more conversations on there. I'd also I want, going forward, this is all evolving because it's all new, but I want to also just share the beauty of St. Andrews too, because I know that a lot of our customers that come here are visitors, and they come to St. Andrews because it's so beautiful and quaint and peaceful, and I'd like to share that as well as what we sell.
For people who do live in town, I mean, your windows are known throughout the town and even beyond for drawing people into the store and showing them what's new. Are you still finding that the storefront plays a role in terms of maybe people walking by on their way for groceries in merchandising?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I got to give my mom most of the credit for that. She's got like all the skills when it comes to decorating the windows. And that would be something that would be easy to kind of neglect right now, to be honest, because we're not physically in the store a lot of the time. But anyone from St. Andrews knows that the route that a lot of people take to walk is, you go around the point and you walk the downtown stretch as well. And so we've had quite a few people walk by and notice some of the new items that we have displayed in the windows, and they've gotten in touch with us, and some people have made purchases that way. So it's definitely something to keep up and not neglect, and I think they make people happy too. So.
Now, the online store is obviously, I think it's new, it's in less than a week. How are you finding the support so far? Is there an outpouring of support for people who want to do online shopping?
Oh my gosh, yes. We have had so much support, and it's made me so happy. So like the first night when I launched it and announced it on Facebook, we had so many likes and shares, and I couldn't believe it, and we felt all the love. So we've had it feels like a great success, really. So we're really happy, and we love our customers.
Obviously, Charlotte County too is known for being an incredibly supportive community full of lots of small businesses. So in your own endeavors with trying to find ways to support local right now, what are you doing?
Wow, that's a good question. Oh, actually, this shirt I'm wearing here, I got at Spree in St. Stephen, who also has an online shop, and I just love everything she does. So I've done some online shopping there. In town here, there's lots of restaurants that are doing takeout. We've done that a few times. And as soon as, once, who knows when this will be over, but when it is over, I'm going to make like a very conscious effort to do all my purchasing locally. Because I know that all the small businesses here are going to need that support when the time comes.
Yeah, and on that side of the coin, what were some of the real struggles and maybe some of the resources you found to help you out, whether it be having to lay off people? What were some of the immediate struggles for a small business in Charlotte County that you ran into?
Yeah, it's been challenging for sure. When you have a sudden loss of revenue like that, it's hard to even make payroll, let alone pay all the bills. So yeah, we had to lay some people off, and that doesn't feel good. We don't want to do that. But then we've been really following what the government is offering for small businesses to help them out, and they are doing the 75% wage subsidy. So when that time comes around, we'll see what we can do and see if we can bring some employees back on, which would be great. We also are looking into, they're offering small business loans through the bank, so we'll probably be taking advantage of that. I don't love that's my cat, sorry. This is the beauty of working from home. We don't want to take on more debt, but this is okay.
I know your cat. Hi, Lucy.
Hungry, it's dinner time. Anyway, yeah, it's not ideal, obviously, to take on debt, but you got to do what you got to do to get through until we can open up again. So yeah, we've been using the government resources and taking it day by day.
On the flip side, again, I know that a lot of your winter traffic at the Leather House comes from locals who come to the store in the off season. But are you finding, I know it's still early to tell, but with opening your market up online, does that bring in some of your client base that shops during the summer when they're visiting but might live elsewhere in the winter? Have you found it expanding your market now that's like having some positive impact that way?
Yeah, for sure. We've had a couple orders from someone from Woodstock, someone from Fredericton the other day, and they probably come down in the summer and then just follow us online otherwise. But yeah, we're reaching customers that we usually only see in the summer, but now they have access to us all the time, so it's good.
And I will put this on the screen, but what is the website for people who are curious now?
It's TheLeatherHouse.ca.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Katy, and your cat, Lucy.
No problem.
All right. Best of luck. Talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this show and are inspired by some of our local innovators. We encourage everyone to support local as much as you can, now and always. If you have a business that's innovating in the face of social distancing that you think we should profile, please send an email to news@chco.tv.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO-TV, New Brunswick's only source for independent community television.